Hello, numismatic enthusiasts and coin collectors. Welcome back to our channel. I'm thrilled to have you here today for another exciting journey through the world of rare and valuable US coins. In this video, we're going to explore some super rare US coins that are worth a significant amount of money. So, before you think about spending them, stick around, because you might just have a small fortune right at your fingertips. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our numismatic adventures. Let's dive right in. Number 16. This is 1949 D Roosevelt dime in MS68 condition. According to Stax Bowers, beautifully toned from years spent in an original mint set holder, the obverse is particularly vivid in a blend of gold, blue, lavender, dove gray and hot pink colors. A lighter reverse does exhibit mottled olive gold highlights to a base of pale silver tinting. There is nary a distracting blemish in evidence, as one should demand at the upper reaches of superb gem quality. It was sold for $2,300. Number 15. Here is 2000 Lincoln cent in superb gem condition. Graded as MS69 red by PCGS. Just 1 point prevents this gem from absolute numismatic perfection. MS70 is the highest grade available as for Sheldon coin grading scale. Virtually perfect in every way, this coin is fully lustrous with a razor-sharp strike to both sides. A low pop, condition census rarity for the advanced Lincoln cent collector. It was sold for $2,990. Number 14. This is 1941 Washington quarter in PR68 plus condition. By 1941 prices for the proof sets of 1936 onward were already rising, and the market for these coins was well established. This led to annual increases in sales, as collectors began buying duplicate sets for speculative purposes. As always, many of the proof coins struck were not suitable for sale, and the reject rate ran to nearly 30% in 1941. A total of 21,625 coins was struck, but only 15,000 were delivered to the metals clerk for sale. The odd figure of 15,087 quarters appearing in reference books includes 87 coins destroyed in assays. This neatly preserved PR68 plus gem ended up selling for $2,947.50 with buyer's fee on September 3, 2023. Number 13. This is 1929 S Lincoln cent with repunched mint mark S over S. Graded in mint state 65 red by PCGS. Softly frosted in texture with even rose-orange color, this coin presents expectably well for the assigned grade. A few trivial blemishes are easily overlooked, as is a bit of softness to the strike that is only really noted for the obverse. It was sold for Hey coin collectors. Welcome back to our channel. In this episode I'm going to show you 16 scarce and rare coins that fetched a significant sums at different coin auctions. Hit that subscribe button below and let's dive in. Number 16. This is 1950 D Jefferson nickel in MS67 condition with full steps. Attractively toned nickel with very nice preservation. 1950 was a recession year, and there existed little additional demand for nickels in the territory serviced by the Denver Mint. The entire production of 1950 D nickels occurred during the summer months, and by the end of the year this issue's low mintage set off a frenzy of hoarding. Thousands of rolls were preserved, making this coin the most widely hoarded issue since the 1938 D Buffalo type. This full steps gem was sold for $504. Number 15. Here is 1964 Kennedy half-dollar struck on a quarter planchet. Graded in mint state 64 by NGC. Due to size difference between quarter and half-dollar planchets, letterings and the day are not fully struck. Liberty is almost totally absent, except some remnants of L and I with weight of 6.1 grams. This error coin was sold for $1,140. Number 14. Here is undated Washington quarter struck on a Philippines 5 centimos planchet. Graded as proof 63 brown by PCGS. Normally Philippines 5 centimos planchet is a brass alloy and weighs 2.5 grams. While weight of this error coin 2.54 grams. Date was struck off the flan, but the S mint mark indicates that it was issued by San Francisco branch of the mint. It was sold for $1,320. Number 13. This is 2023 Shield cent with extra V on obverse. Graded as MS68 red by NGC. A rare coin error that occurs when an extra V appears near the rim of the coin, after the initials of engraver VDB. In order to spot this error, you'd better use loupe or scope. This elusive shield penny ended up selling for $1,114.86 with buyer's fee. Number 12. Here is 1930s Mercury dime in MS66 condition. According to NGC, the production of coins slowed considerably in 1930, due to the effects of the Great Depression. Many 1930s dimes remained in vaults for a few years until the demand for fresh coin reappeared in 1934-35. By this time, collectors were already alerted to this low mintage issue and preserved a fair number of mint state pieces. 1930s dimes are scarce in the higher circulated grades, but mint state survivors are more plentiful than they would have been under normal economic conditions, and this holds down the value of worn pieces. Gems are not rare, though very few of these have full bands. It was sold for $2,040. Number 11. This is 1943 P. Jefferson nickel struck on a zinc-coated steel cent planchet. Graded as AU55 by PCGS. An originally preserved example, both sides exhibit ruddy pewter and olive gray patina. The strike is flush to the upper left obverse border, lower left reverse border, the right peripheral devices mostly off the planchet, but the base of all four digits and the date discernible to support PCGS's 1943 attribution. Those design elements that are fully present are sharp, and the eye appeal is strong. It was sold for $2,640. Number 10. This is 1964 Lincoln cent struck on a copper nickel-clad dime planchet. Graded as extremely fine 45 by PCGS. According to Stax Bowers, brilliant and satiny, this attractive silver-gray example retains faint traces of mint luster that are best appreciated when viewed with the aid of direct lighting. The wrong planchet feature has resulted in isolated softness of detail both in the centers and around the peripheries, but most major design elements are sharply defined. This is a scarce mint error, and also a particularly curious one since copper-nickel planchets were not intended for regular issue production until 1965. In 1964, when this specimen was presumably struck, the Philadelphia Mint would have been using 90% silver planchets for dime coinage. This specimen was sold for $2,880. Number 9. This is 1950 Franklin half-dollar in PR67 condition. After an 8-year hiatus, proof coin sales finally resumed in 1950. The hobby had grown considerably during that time, and sales were bound to be much higher than in 1942. A new twist was that buyers could order only complete, 5-coin sets, rather than selecting a desired quantity by denomination. The packaging remained similar, each coin sealed inside a flexible plastic sleeve, these then stapled together into complete sets that fit within a square, cardboard box. As it had in 1936, the technique of coining brilliant proofs had to be relearned this year. The early emissions were more satiny than brilliant, but with a beauty all their own. Collectors, however, wanted coins with fully polished fields, and the proof half-dollars of 1950 come both ways. Examples having cameo contrast, with frosted devices set against brilliant fields, form a minority of this coinage. Those revealing sufficient contrast to be certified as ultra cameo are extremely rare, especially in grades above PF65. This PR67 gem was sold for $2,880. Number 8. 1958 D Lincoln cent in MS67 plus red condition. According to NGC, the coining of cents at Denver dropped below the billion mark for this year as a consequence of a short but sharp nationwide recession. This nonetheless a very common coin in all grades shy of MS67 RD. Most were fairly well made, though ones from worn and chipped dies are common, too. This specimen was sold for $2,587.50 with buyer's fee. Number 7. 1972 Lincoln cent with double die obverse. According to PCGS, the 1972 double die type 1 can be easily identified as it is strong doubling to the southwest on all 4 digits on the date. The word liberty is also doubled towards the south. The words in God we trust on the obverse are also strongly doubled towards the east. This variety is very popular. This MS67 plus gem ended up selling for $3,505.50 with buyer's fee. Number 6. Another error variety. 1965 Roosevelt dime struck on a 90% silver planchet. Graded as AU55 by NGC. This is one of the most popular wrong planchet errors in today's market, a transitional one that involves a 90% planchet that the mint ceased using for regular issue dime production in 1964 with 1,965 dated dies from the first year of regular issue copper-nickel-clad coinage. Otherwise properly struck, although accuracy does compel us to mention trivial softness of detail along the left obverse and upper reverse borders. Boldly to sharply defined elsewhere with bright brilliant white surfaces that retain appreciable mint luster. It was sold for $5,520. Number 5. Here is Type 1 1936 Lincoln Cent with double die obverse. Graded in mint state 66 plus read by PCGS. Doubling is evident on all obverse letterings and the date. PCGS reported just 2 specimens in this grade with only single finer. This one was sold for $10,734.75 with buyer's fee. Number 4. Moving on with this 1944 Lincoln Cent struck on a zinc-coated steel planchet. Cleaned error coin with AU details. A significant opportunity for the budget-minded collector to acquire an example of this highly desirable wrong planchet error, the counterpart to the famous 1943 bronze cent. Predominantly silver-gray in appearance, both sides exhibit bold to sharp definition throughout the design. Light hairlining explains the PCGS qualifier, and a few scattered swirls of inactive corrosion are also noted for accuracy, the most prevalent of which are located along the right obverse border. Our multiple offerings in this sale notwithstanding, these are scarce coins, the Denver and San Francisco mint steel cents of the year nothing short of rare. It was sold for $13,200. Number 3. This is rarely encountered 1944 quarter struck on a steel cent planchet. A highlight of the extensive mint error offerings in the John Whitney Walter collection, this piece exhibits a full date and clear mint mark area. The strike is flush to the lower obverse and upper reverse borders, all design elements that are present exhibiting sharp definition. The obverse is bright and satiny, the reverse a bit darker with light granularity and scattered oxidation. It ended up selling for $16,200. Number 2. Here is 1910s Lincoln Cent with repunched mint mark S graded in mint state 67 read by PCGS. A pristine example of this rare variety with vibrant olive gold coloration across each side. The fields are blanketed in a dense, matte-like luster, complementing the more satiny texture of the devices. Incredibly sharp throughout and spared from notable blemishes of any sort. A highly sought-after variety, the 1910s FS 502 is an underrated variety that sits in the shadow of more famous varieties like the 1958 and 1969s. However, advanced Lincoln collectors recognize its true rarity and it is often the jewel in the most specialized collections. It is listed among the top 100 repunched mint mark varieties by both Konica and Wexler, and is listed as the 6th most wanted variety in the Complete Price Guide and Cross-Reference to Lincoln Cent Mint Mark Varieties, 1999, by Allen and Wexler. This rare specimen was sold for $19,200. Number 1. And this is 1955 Lincoln Cent with double die obverse. Graded in mint state 65 plus read by PCGS. CAC proven superb gem. This is a breathtakingly beautiful, conditionally rare example of perhaps the most popular of all Lincoln Cent varieties. Bathed in a blend of medium orange and pale rose colors, the surfaces are fully lustrous with a soft satin finish. The dies imparted sharp to full definition throughout the design, the all-important obverse doubling readily evident to the naked eye. Generally pristine, a few extremely faint and easily overlooked carbon flecks are all that seem to preclude an even higher grade. This numismatic pinnacle ended up selling for $114,000. Thanks for watching this video. Consider subscribing to our channel for more captivating numismatic content. Have a good one.
Welcome esteemed audience, I'm thrilled to have you join me in this captivating episode where I'll show you 6 exceptionally elusive US coins that bring a lot of money. Hit that subscribe button below and let's get started. Subscribe. Number 16, this is 1972 Lincoln Cent with double die obverse, graded in mint state 63 read by PCGS. The 1972 double die Type 1 can be easily identified, with its strong doubling to the southwest on all 4 digits on the date. The word Liberty is also doubled toward the south. The words In God We Trust on obverse are also strongly doubled towards the east. This specimen was sold for $384 on September 12, 2023. Number 15, this is 1909 SVDB Lincoln Center in circulated condition, graded as extremely fine 45 by NGC. It is 1 year only issue with only 484,000 coins minted at the San Francisco Mint. The initials VDB on the reverse of the coin stand for Victor David Brenner, the designer of the Lincoln cent. As their unauthorized inclusion on the coin led to a public outcry and the removal from the future coins. The coin is in high demand among collectors and its value has increased significantly over the years. This specimen was sold for $1,320. Number 14, here is 2020 W Tallgrass Prairie National Park Quarter from America's Beautiful Quarters commemorative series, graded as MS68 by NGC. The reverse design depicts a skyward view of regal fritillary butterfly against a backdrop of big blue steam and Indian grasses, iconic to Tallgrass Prairie National Preserve. MS67 specimens are scarce, while MS68 gems are almost unheard of. This rare gem ended up selling for $1,743.75 with buyer's fee. Number 13, here is 1957 Roosevelt Diamond PR69 Deep Cameo condition. According to NGC, the speculative mania for modern proof set reached its apex in 1957, and sales nearly doubled over those of the previous year to more than 1 million sets. This figure, however, shocked and scared away many resale buyers. The result was a temporary setback in the market that is reflected in the 1958 proof sales. The 1957 proof time is common in all grades through PF69. The large number of dies required for such a big mintage resulted in a greater than usual population of cameo and even ultra cameo specimens. The latter are not truly common, but they are far more available than for earlier dates. This PR69 specimen was sold for $2,981.25 with buyer's fee. Number 12, this is 1948 Roosevelt Dime with attractive tonic, graded as MS68 full bands by PCGS. In the Roosevelt Dime series, full bands refers to the horizontal twin bands found on the torch that elights the reverse of this popular coin. The bands are supposed to be distinct and show full separation, but sometimes they are not struck fully, resulting in a weak bands. Full bands are considered to be a desirable trait in Roosevelt times and can command premium price. These fully struck 10-cent pieces ended up selling for $1,896.75 with buyer's fee. Number 11, here is 1937 Lincoln Cent in PR67 red cameo condition. Vivid pink to orange surfaces exhibit an uncommon degree of feel to device contrast in a proof Lincoln cent of this date. Nicely preserved red proof specimens that fetch the sum of Number 10, here is 1912 Lincoln Cent in PR66 brown condition. Outstanding copper brown surfaces exhibit a smooth satiny texture with subtle cobalt blue undertones, also making a strong visual impression. According to Stax Powers, despite the published proof mintage of 2,172 pieces, combined population statistics of major certification services suggests that only about a third of these have survived. It's likely that the mud proofs were easily confused by many early 20th century collectors with circulation strikes, and some examples may have ended up being spent when coin collections were dispersed. This elusive cent ended up selling for $5,581.25. Number 9, this is 1957 Lincoln Cent in MS67 wet condition. This exquisite superb gem sports fulsome medium orange luster with subtle pastel pink and lilac peripheral highlights. Smooth, inviting, and among the finest certified for the issue, this beautiful 1957 would make an impressive addition to a top-ranked Lincoln cent. Number 8 here is 1942 mercury dime in PR69 condition. Proof set production was suspended. After 1942 because of wartime priorities, according to Heritage, most of the attention was focused on the nickel denomination, which switched composition during that year, as this resulted in inclusion of both types of 5-cent coins in proof sets issued later in the year. Despite the distractions, 22,329 proof times were coined in 1942, and proof times of this date are justly famous for their high quality. The present coin is a superb example of that celebrated quality. It was bargained for $14,950. Number 7. This is 1959 the Washington Quarter in MS67 condition. Remarkably mauve red and emerald green toning competes for territory across both sides. This was struck a luster superb gem, has an immaculate reverse, and thorough inspection is required to locate the few unobtrusive obverse imperfections. It was sold for $14,950. Number 6. Moving on with this 1925 as Peace Dollar in MS65 condition. This gem 1925 as Peace Dollar is one of the keys to the series in this grade. This piece shows bold, attractive toning that is deep and original, unusual for a peace dollar, mostly gold and amber with some deep ocean blue, olive, russet, crimson tints intermingled near the extreme rims. The strikes through the centers, although not that sharp, is far above average. A few marks on the Liberty's chin and jaw are noticeable. It was sold for $18,800. Number 5. This is 1943 as Jefferson Nichols struck on a steel sand planchet graded in state 65 by NGC. This 1943 S 5 cent is a war nickel of a different kind, struck not in copper, silver, manganese, but in steel, on a cent blank of 1943 without upset rim. A decently detailed example giving unusual circumstances, lightly toned blue and gold with easily appreciated luster. It was sold for $18,400. Number 4. This is 1928 S Lincoln cent in MS65 red condition. A delightful gem red example of the San Francisco issue struck from a remarkably early dye state with none of distracting metal flow typically seen on branch mint issues from this era. The O-in-1 is slightly soft, but the coin is otherwise well struck, and no obtrusive spots are evident. Housed in a green label holder, it ended up selling for $18,600. Number 3. Here is rainbow-toned 1962 D Washington Quarter in MS67 condition. While the 1962 D Washington Quarter might not be spring to mind as a conditional rarity, most examples of this issue are left in the gem or lower grades due to reading marks, contact marks, and general roughness that pieces were subjected to, a function of the exceedingly large mintage exceeding 127 million coins. A rainbow of the color envelopes both sides, and it takes a loop to see any contact marks at all, and they are not worth mentioning. It was sold for $18,400. Number 2. Moving on with this 1953 S Franklin half dollar in mint state 65 with full bell lines. The present coin is basically an untoned silver-white example save for a slight gold accent, and may appeal to a different collector base than the more deeply toned examples cited above. Radiant luster is generous and complete on both sides. It was sold for $25,300. Number 1, and this is Bicentennial Ike dollar proof in PR70 deep cameo condition. Bicentennial Eisenhower dollars were coined in 1975 and 1976, all dual dated 1776-1976. Examples were issued in silver-clad and nickel-clad. The nickel-clad pieces struck in 1975 had the Type 1 reverse with thick letters, while the others struck in 1976 had the Type 2 reverse with thin letters. Proof set mintage shows that a little under 3 million of the Type 1 coins were minted in 1975, and just over 4 million Type 2 coins were struck in 1976. This perfect proof has flawless nickel-gray surfaces with lustrous devices and deeply mirrored fields, as trace of champagne toning is evident on the reverse. It was sold for $25,300. Thanks for watching this episode. If you found this information helpful, make sure to hit subscribe and like buttons before you move on with another video. Have a good one.
Welcome back to our channel. In this episode I am going to talk about 6 rare and super valuable US error coins you should know about. They are highly sought after by collectors and command strong premiums at auctions. Hit that subscribe button below this video and let's get started. Number 6. This is 1944 P. Jefferson nickel struck on a cent planchet. Graded in mint state 60 brown by PCGS. According to Stack's Powers, brassy reddish copper patina suggests that the cent planchet is one of those made from copper salvaged from cartridge cases used in World War II. Nicely centered in strike with otherwise bold definition, the peripheral devices are partially or wholly off the flan due to the error. It was sold for $7,475. Number 5. Here is 1965 Roosevelt dime struck on a 90% silver planchet. Graded as AU55 by NGC. This is one of the most popular wrong planchet errors in today's market, a transitional one that involves a 90% planchet that the Mint ceased using for regular issue dime production in 1964 with 1,965 dated dies from the first year of regular issue copper nickel-clad coinage. Otherwise properly struck, although accuracy does compel us to mention trivial softness of detail along the left obverse and upper reverse borders. Boldly to sharply defined elsewhere with bright brilliant white surfaces that retain appreciable mint luster. It ended up selling for $7,800. Number 4. This is 1965 Washington quarter struck on a silver quarter planchet. Graded as extremely fine 45 by PCGS. Always popular as a transitional year, a leftover silver planchet from 1964 apparently was stuck in a supposedly empty tote bin, then jarred loose in 65 and struck. Moderate circulation is evident over the high points, and there are no detracting marks. A rare and very desirable off-metal error coin. It was sold for $7,500. Number 3. This is 2000 Lincoln cent overstruck on a 2000 dated Sacagawea dollar. This is a fascinating example of a remarkable double denomination coin. The first strike was normal, resulting in a Sacagawea dollar that is well centered and fully impressed on the correct planchet. The final digit 0 in the date of the dollar is discernible, confirming that it was struck from 2000 dated dies. As the Lincoln cent bears no mint mark, both strikes are presumably attributed to the Philadelphia Mint. Remarkably, this Sacagawea dollar then ended up between cent dies, where it received sharp impressions of both the obverse and reverse. Apparently this second impression was made in the absence of a collar or, the dollar planchet prevented the collar from deploying around the anvil die in the normal manner. The Lincoln cent strike is at 530 relative to the Sacagawea dollar obverse, and all design elements that are present from both impressions are razor sharp. It was sold for $38,400. Number 2. This is 2000 P Sacagawea dollar struck on a cent planchet in MS67 red condition. The dollar strike is flush with the upper obverse and lower reverse borders, and all major design elements are at least partially discernible except for the legend United States of America on the reverse, which is mostly off the planchet. Satiny bright pinkish red surfaces with razor sharp detail to all features that are present. While we have handled a few Sacagawea dollars struck on quarter planchets, or overstruck on state quarters, it was sold for $22,800. Number 1. And this is 1970's Washington quarter proof struck on a 1898 half eagle. Graded as PR66 by NGC. This is a spectacular error. A struck 1898 $5 was used as a planchet and then overstruck with proof 1970's quarter dies. Parts of the 1898 half eagle are faintly visible on each side with the date, 1898, seen below the wreath on the reverse. Proof planchets are hand-fed into the press prior to striking. Each proof coin is, allegedly, individually examined prior to shipment. It is rare to locate any proof coin with even a minor error, such as an off-center, double struck, a broad strike, and off-metal strikes. Obviously, such proof coin errors are eagerly sought by collectors. What makes this coin physically possible to produce is the relative closeness in diameter of each denomination. Quarters are 24.3 millimeters in diameter, and half eagles are 21.6 millimeters. Meaning the struck half eagle coin will not be quite large enough to be a perfect fit as a planchet. However, it is close and the result will be what we see on this piece, incomplete definition around the borders. It was sold for $93,000. Thanks for watching this video. Consider subscribing to our channel for more captivating numismatic content. Have a good one.
Hey there fellow coin enthusiasts, welcome back to our channel. In this exciting episode we are diving deep into the world of rare coins and covering 17 hidden gems that you absolutely should not spend, no matter how tempting it might be. Hit that subscribe button below and let's get started. Number 17. This is 1942 Washington quarter in PR66 plus condition. According to NGC, proof sales rose about 40% over those of 1941 and would continue their rapid climb were it not for the interruption of the World War II. This turned out to be the last year of proof coinage until 1950. The Philadelphia Mint coined some 28,000 proof quarters just to have 21,000 offered for sale. An additional 123 appear in published figures, but these coins were reserved for essay and subsequently destroyed. The proof quarters of 1942 were well made overall, though the problem of the over-polished dies left many coins with poor or missing details among the design features of the lowest relief. Gems are plentiful through PF67, but examples grading higher are very rare. This PR66 plus specimen ended up selling for $216. Number 16. 1981 S Kennedy half dollar in PR70 deep cameo condition. This is a rare, clear S mint mark style of the proof 1981 S half dollar, represented here by a pristine low-pop PCGS PR70 deep cameo. Silky smooth surfaces are untoned apart from a few swirls of pale gold tinting in the center of obverse. It was sold for $690. Number 15. This is 1941 S Jefferson nickel with repunched mint mark S over S, graded as MS65 by PCGS. Not only is a large S mint mark style scarce for 1941 S Jefferson nickel, but the present example exhibits a secondary S south of the primary mint mark. Silver grey surfaces are fully lustrous and expectably smooth at the gem grade level. It was sold for $1,840. Number 14. This is 1950 S Washington quarter in MS67 condition. Attractively toned superb gem. The peripheries of this dazzling coin display partial halos of crimson orange, pale gold, and powder blue iridescence, brilliant in the centers and frosty throughout. Both sides are nice enough to suggest an even higher superb gem rating. It ended up selling for $2,880. Number 13. Here is 1945 P Jefferson nickel in MS67 condition, with remarkably vivid tonic and multiple colors, blanketing smooth, frosty features. According to PCGS census, a grading service certified 1980 specimens in MS67 grade, with only 4 numerically finer. This example was sold for $3,737.50. Number 12. This is 1965 Jefferson nickel from Special Mint set, a profound strike and condition rarity that combines an uncommon degree of field to device contrast for the type with virtually pristine surfaces, and toned with captivating silver-white appearance. The 1965 is the most challenging of the 3 regular issue SMS Jefferson nickels of the 1960s to locate with deep cameo designation from PCGS. This proof gem ended up selling for $3,120. Number 11. Here is 1953 Washington quarter in PR68 deep cameo condition. Brilliant silver-white surfaces offer strong contrast between frosty design elements and deeply mirrored fields. From a mintage of 128,800 pieces for this 1950s Proof Washington Quarter issue, precious few of which combine a deep cameo finish with superb gem preservation, it was sold for $4,080. Number 10. This is 2001 piece Sacagawea dollar struck on a Kentucky state quarter, graded in mint state 66 by NGC. According to Heritage, Kentucky is faintly evident near Liberty. The 2001 date is perceptibly beneath a slumbering infant, and the outline of the horse's head is also lightly apparent. According to the consignor, a well-known mint error specialist, this is the sole known example of a Sacagawea struck on a Kentucky quarter, a few degrees on center toward 5 o'clock. It was sold for $5,750. Number 9, here is 1990D Lincoln Center MS64 brown condition, an error penny struck on a pre-1983 copper planchet. In 1990s, the mint was 8 years into using copper-plated zinc planchets that weighed only 2.5 grams. To say that the existence of this coin is unusual is an understatement. Struck at the Denver Mint, this piece likely owes its creation to the same unknown circumstances that produced the 1989D copper cent. Planchets were handled in bulk during manufacturing process, and the most wrong planchet errors are attributed to the planchets of one denomination or alloy becoming lodged in hoppers or other machinery only to spring loose in a stock of another year or denomination. The 1943 copper cents were created in this fashion as well. This rare error penny was sold for $5,640. Number 8. This is 2000p Maryland quarter struck on a clad dime planchet, graded as MS64 by PCGS. The old line state is complete, as is virtually all of Maryland and Liberty. The mint mark is near the rim, but identifiable. State quarters struck on dimes are rarely encountered due to improved riddlers, and this lustrous and problem-free example was sold for $6,325. Number 7, here is 2000p Sacagawea dollar in MS68 condition, graded in mint state 68 by NGC. The so-called curious dollars were distributed as a promotional gimmick in boxes of breakfast cereal. The characteristics that distinguish them from ordinary 2000p Sacagawea dollar is detailed feather work on the eagle's tail feathers. This example is exceptionally well preserved, with bright, semi-reflective brass-gold surfaces. It is housed in a custom 2-coin NGC slab with 2000 Lincoln cent, which is graded MS66 red. It was sold for $6,600. Number 6, here is 1938 Washington quarter in MS67 plus condition. CEC proven wonderful 25-cent piece, a marvelous super gem example that should please even the most demanding specialists in the series. Absolutely full striking definition and satiny, pristine surfaces are evident on two sides of this impressive piece. It ended up selling for $7,343.75. Number 5, this is 1932 D Lincoln Center MS67 red condition, a brilliant superb gem with fiery orange surfaces and frosty mint luster. This Denver Mint Depression era cent has exceptional eye appeal. Sharply struck design motifs are noted on both sides, and the pristine surfaces are virtually mark-free with minimal carbon flecks. It was sold for $8,225. Number 4. This is 1958 Lincoln cent in MS67 plus red condition. More than $250 million 1958 cents were struck, but very few survive in superb gem condition with the PCGS plus designation. This specimen comes with distinctive lilac accents around the Lincoln's head and rich reddish-orange colors throughout the incredibly smooth, sharply struck surfaces. Eye appeal is tremendous. It fetched a sum of $9,000. Number 3. This is 1939 Jefferson nickel with reverse of 1938, graded as PR68 by PCGS. According to Stex Powers, silky smooth surfaces are adorned with beautiful silver rose, powder blue, and pale gold iridescence, uniformly mirrored in finish, with a full strike and the strongest technical merits available in approved Jefferson nickel. Of this date, it was sold for $18,400. Number 2. This is 1909 VDB Lincoln Cent Proof Red Gem in PR65 condition. The rarest of the proof Lincoln Cents in the 1909 VDB. Only 1,194 coins were produced, and yet its issue is even scarcer than that mintage suggests. Later mud proofs such as 1915 and 1916 have even lower mintage, and yet they are more plentiful today than 1909 VDB. Some researchers suggest that only part of reported mintage was ever released, which, if true, could account for the scarcity of this issue today. It was sold for $33,600. Number 1, and this is 1932 D Washington Quarter in MS65 Plus condition. Below is satin luster. Greets the viewer from both sides of this smooth, highly attractive silver-tinged gem. Impressive technical quality and eye appeal for this key date and conditionally challenging issue from the first year of the Washington Quarter series. Though the 1932 D's mintage of 436,800 pieces is nearly 30,000 more than its San Francisco Mint counterpart at grades of EF40 or finer, the 1932 D becomes a key date of the series. This specimen ended up selling for $41,125. Thanks for watching this episode till the end. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe buttons below this video, and comment if you have such rare coins. Stay well.
Ladies and gentlemen, coin enthusiasts and collectors, welcome back to our channel. I'm thrilled to have you join me today for another exciting journey into the fascinating world of numismatics. In today's video, we're going to embark on an exhilarating quest to uncover 16 rare and valuable coins, mostly error coins that have made waves in the world of coin collecting. These aren't your everyday pocket change, these are the coins that can command staggering prices at auctions. So hit that subscribe button below and let's dive in. Number 16. This is 1924's Lincoln Cent in MS65 brown condition. An amazing off-center Lincoln Cent with mint orange surfaces that are tempered with golden tan toning. Off-center to 7 o'clock with the obverse rim through the bottom of Lincoln's portrait, and with all of the date and legend details intact except Libe, which is off the planchet. The reverse details, off-center to 11 o'clock, feature everything from 1 cent downward. It was sold for $2,056.25. Number 15. This is 1977 D Jefferson nickel with obverse die cap and reverse mirror brockage. According to Stax Bowers, this fascinating piece was struck once properly, yet failed to eject from the press. Instead it capped the obverse die, and picked up a crisp brockage from the obverse of another struck coin on its reverse. Since the brockage is complete and shows no evidence of distension, we expect that this coin freed itself from the press right after acquiring the brockage. The cap, while fairly deep at the upper obverse, does not extend all the way around that side, further evidence for a brief period adhered to the obverse die. A brilliant and beautiful gem, and a rare and desirable major mint error. This amazing error nickel ended up selling for $2,640. Number 14. Here is 1999 P Washington Quarter struck on an experimental planchet. Graded in Mint State 67 by NGC. The companion piece to the Pennsylvania State Quarter offered above, this piece is also struck on an olive gold manganese alloy planchet at a time when the Mint was searching for a suitable alloy for the Sacagawea dollar that was eventually introduced in 2000. Sharply struck and satiny with a few swirls of light haziness in the center of the reverse that represent shallow flaws in the planchet. It was sold for $2,640. Number 13. This is 1969 D Lincoln Cent with first strike brockage. Graded in Mint State 64 red and brown by PCGS. A spectacular mint error, the reverse of this coin, mounted up in the PCGS holder, displays a sharp, clear mirror image of the Lincoln portrait design from the obverse of a reverse die cap. The obverse is struck properly, that side of the coin displaying light lilac rose patina to an otherwise medium orange surface. The brockage side is richly toned in steel olive, although lighter pale pink color is evident in the recesses. Brockages are among the more appealing mint errors, and first strikes with full details such as this are quite rare. It was sold for $2,640. Number 12. Moving on with this 1971 D. Eisenhower dollar with reverse indented by a dime planchet. Graded in mint state 64 by PCGS. Excellent surfaces and luster on the host coin, with the indented area blank save for a hint of the overstruck eagle's wing and body, nearly flattened out by the force of the second strike when the dime planchet slipped on the just struck dollar. Scarce as an error and in a nice collector grade for quality. It was sold for $2,232.50. Number 11. Here is 1942 Lincoln cent struck on a dime planchet. Uncertified coin but most likely in AU condition according to Stax Bowers. Lustrous steel gray with the initial appearance of a 1943 steel cent, but there the similarity ends. The diameter is smaller than that of a cent with the obverse rim tied to the bottom of Lincoln's portrait and the L of Liberty. The reverse rim intersects the tops of E pluribus unum. Scarce and desirable coin that ended up selling for $2,415. Number 10. This is 1976 D. Washington quarter with obverse die cap. Graded in mint state 67 by NGC. This beautiful superb gem obverse die cap was created when the planchet was fed into the press prior to another struck coin being ejected. Secondly, the newly fed planchet was struck, and adhered to the die for several subsequent strikes, sharpening the obverse impression and softening the brockage impression on the reverse. Well centered with the rim of the die cap even and approximately 3 mm to 4 mm in height. It was sold for $2,880. Number 9. Here is 1968 D. Kennedy half dollar indented by a half dollar struck on a quarter planchet. Graded as AU 58 by PCGS. This half dollar was struck normally the first time, then a new planchet was inserted into the press, but it was a quarter-sized planchet that was struck by the half dollar press first, thus the indent shows the flattened eagle of the half dollar along with Kennedy's head incues as well as God incues and backwards in the indent from this process. A few surface scratches on the obverse cheek of Kennedy, perhaps from the ejection process. It was sold for $2,350. Number 8. This is 1958 Lincoln cent struck on a struck 1958 Cuban 1 centavo. Surfaces are blemish-free and are awash in cartwheel mint frost on both sides. The copper-nickel composition has taken on light russet and slightly cloudy golden toning, much like the similar piece to follow. Through 1960, the United States Mint at Philadelphia was striking a variety of coins for the Republic of Cuba, one of them the diminutive copper-nickel 1 centavos featuring the left-facing bust of José Martí. At least one of these coins evidently remained in a hopper that supplied blanks to a press coining 1958 Lincoln cents, resulting in this incredible dual country error. It was sold for $2,990. Number 7. Here is 2002's Proof Roosevelt dime with reverse die cap. Graded as PR67 Ultra Cameo by NGC. A fascinating error, and one of the rarest die caps showcased at Stax Bowers. The reverse impression is razor sharp within the base of a shallow cap, the planchet freeing itself, or being removed, from the reverse die after only a few additional impressions, likely 1 or 2. The other side of this cap also exhibits a razor sharp strike, from the obverse die. Both sides are brilliant with deeply reflective fields supporting frosty design elements. It was sold for $3,360. Number 6. Moving on with this 2002 D. Sacagawea dollar struck on a quarter planchet. Graded in mint state 66 by NGC. An interesting wrong planchet error created when a standard planchet for quarter got fed between Sacagawea dollar dies, this one produced at the Denver Mint. Visually striking for both the quality and the obviously incorrect composition. Well centered on the slightly smaller quarter blank, with good detail and narrow rims complete around the circumference on each side. Fully brilliant with exceptional cartwheels of luster and only the most trivial handling. It was sold for $5,280. Number 5. 1976 D. Bicentennial quarter struck on a dime planchet. Graded in mint state 64 by NGC. This is an extremely rare error coin with fewer than 4 pieces known to exist. Boldly lustrous surfaces, fully brilliant and with no marks worthy of mention. Nicely centered, but just slightly high, giving room for the date and mint mark to be visible, if not complete. Sharp central detail. A visually dramatic error due to the large difference in sizes between the quarter dies and dime planchet. These dramatic differences make these stand out during production and they rarely get released, so such off-metal coins are very rare by their nature. It was sold for $6,462.50. Number 4. This is 1944 P. Jefferson nickel struck on a cent planchet. Brassy reddish copper patina suggests that the cent planchet is one of those made from copper salvaged from cartridge cases used in World War II. Nicely centered in strike with otherwise bold definition, the peripheral devices are partially or wholly off the flan due to the error. It was sold for $7,475. Number 3. Here is Washington quarter mated pair of struck together coins. Both examples are individually graded and encapsulated by PCGS, as follows: coin number 1, uniface obverse, proof 64, and coin number 2, uniface reverse, proof 62. The PCGS inserts assign the uniface reverse designation to coin number 1 and the uniface obverse designation to coin number 2. The obverse is toned with a pleasing blend of gold, rose and blue, and both sides are boldly reflective. A neat mated pair with strong visual appeal that is especially compelling as proof errors are quite difficult to find at all, much less as a mated pair. Hello fellow numismatists and coin enthusiasts. Welcome back to our numismatic journey. In today's captivating episode, we're diving deep into the world of rare coins, uncovering 16 hidden treasures that hold the potential for substantial premiums. If you're passionate about collecting coins or simply intrigued by the allure of numismatics, you won't want to miss this exciting exploration. Hit that subscribe button below this video and let's get started. Number 16. This is 1967 Roosevelt dime with double die obverse. Graded as AU53 by PCGS. The doubling on obverse letterings are the slightest, so you would need strong magnifying glass to spot it. Also, this specimen comes with collar die clash, this doubling on the western rims, otherwise called railroad rim. This elusive specimen ended up selling for $600. Number 15. This is 1941 Jefferson nickel struck on a cent planchet. Graded in mint state 61 brown by NGC. According to Stax Bowers, the obverse impression is flush to the left border, the reverse to the lower border, the peripheral detail in the opposite area is incomplete due to the size differential between the cent planchet and the larger nickel dies. Virtually all design elements are at least partially discernible. Nonetheless, the date readily evident and most features bold. Richly original antique copper patina with flint gray outlines to most devices. Scarce, and sure to catch the eye of major mint error enthusiasts. It was sold for $1,020. Number 14. This is 1947 Jefferson nickel in MS67 condition with full steps. According to Jamie Hernandez, the 1947 P. Jefferson nickel is one of the more common issues in the series. Only in MS66 or higher is it scarce. With the full steps designation, it is also common up to about MS65 condition. In MS66 full steps it becomes scarce with a probably no more than 1 or 200 examples known. In MS67 full steps it is really tough to find and less than a dozen or so examples exist, with few or no examples known in better condition. This specimen with full steps ended up selling for $1,140. Number 13. Here is 1936 Washington quarter in PR66 condition. Nicely preserved specimen out of meager mintage of 3,837. According to NGC, unlike the proof quarters of 1937 and later years, the 1936 edition was coined with dies taken from the same hubs used for currency coin dies. These dies were polished to give them a mirror finish, but they were identical in design details to the dies used for ordinary coinage. The brilliance of 1936 proof quarters is not equal to that of later dates, as the mint was still developing its techniques for such pieces. Gems of this issue are in limited supply, and very few examples have been certified higher than PF66. This example was sold for $1,260 on September 19, 2023. Number 12. This is 1943 S. Lincoln cent struck on a dime planchet. Graded as VF20 by Annex. Well centered on the dime planchet, the Lincoln cent design is fully appreciable with moderate, even wear that is commensurate with the assigned grade. Wispy hairlines and a somewhat glossy texture are noted for accuracy. A scarce wrong planchet error that is particularly desirable due to its association by date and type with the famous 1943 copper cents. It was sold for $1,440. Number 11. Here is 1954 D Lincoln cent with repunched mint mark. Graded in mint state 66 plus, read by PCGS and affirmed by CAC. Most 1954 D cents were well made in terms of strike and die state, but spotting and staining is common for this and most issues of the 1950s. Several repunched mint mark varieties are known for this issue. The triple punch D is also known in a later die state, LDS, in which one of the extra mint marks has been eradicated from polishing of the die to extend its life. This one was sold for $1,680. Number 10. Moving on with this 1951 D Jefferson nickel in MS66 condition with full steps. Billowy mint luster blends with delicate champagne pink iridescence on both sides of this beautiful gem. A semi-key date issue among 1950s Jefferson nickels, the 1951 D was produced to the extent of 20,460,000 pieces with examples rare above the basal MS66 FS grade level. It was sold for $1,680. Number 9. This is 2000p Sacagawea Cheerios dollar in MS66 condition. According to Stax Bowers, a premium gem example of one of the most fascinating and rare modern varieties in existence, this frosty piece has surfaces free of spots, toning, or handling. Early in 2000, General Mills, makers of Cheerios breakfast cereal, coupled with the U.S. Mint to place new Sacagawea dollars in boxes of their cereal and heighten the nation's awareness of the coin. Some 10 million boxes of Cheerios were part of the promotion, each containing a newly minted Lincoln cent. Another 5,500 boxes also contained a 2000 dated Sacagawea dollar. This M66 gem with enhanced tail feathers ended up selling for $2,160. Number 8. This is 1968's proof Lincoln cent struck on a dime planchet. Graded as PR64 Cameo by NGC. A rare wrong planchet error involving modern U.S. Mint proof coinage. The cent design is well centered on the dime planchet, all devices sharply rendered with a frosty texture that contrasts markedly with deeply reflective fields. Bright and brilliant with outstanding visual appeal. Although the San Francisco Mint was engaged in striking both proof and circulation strike cents in 1968, the facility struck only proof dimes that year. It was sold for $2,520. Number 7. Here is 1968's Jefferson nickel in MS66 condition with full steps. Outstanding technical quality and eye appeal of this underrated strike rarity in the Jefferson nickel series. Brilliant surfaces are fully lustrous with a delightful softly frosted texture. Impressively sharp in overall detail, this coin would do justice to the finest collection of the type. It was sold for $3,120. Number 6. This is 1942 Lincoln cent in PR66 condition. Very nicely impressed and kept proof penny with ultra cameo contrast. According to NGC, 1942 was the final year in which proof coins could be ordered as singles, and sales of the cent outpaced complete proof sets by more than 10,000 pieces. This is the more readily available of the 1936-42 issues in top grades, and it is also the one most likely to be seen with varying degrees of cameo contrast. This one was sold for $4,387.50 with buyer's fee. Number 5. This is 1969 Lincoln cent double struck on a Canadian 10 cents planchet. Graded in mint state 62 by NGC. A dramatic and rare double mint error, this Lincoln cent is not only struck on a planchet intended for a Canadian 10 cent coin, but it is also boldly double struck with several degrees rotation between impressions. Remnants of the first strike are boldest along the back of Lincoln's portrait, at the date, and along the upper reverse border. Brilliant semi-reflective surfaces with the basic Lincoln cent design fully appreciable despite the error. It was sold for $4,320. Number 4. This is 1938 Washington quarter in PR68 condition. Available in lower grades, the 1938 proof Washington quarter is conditionally rare in PR68, and no numerically finer pieces are reported by PCGS. According to Heritage, this registry set contender displays beautiful mirrors and satiny relief elements, with pristine overall surfaces. Lovely iridescent toning graces each side. It was sold for $5,760. Number 3. Moving on with this 1914 S Lincoln Cent in MS65 red condition. A remarkably well-produced, carefully preserved example of this underrated issue among early-date Lincoln Cent issues. Richly original surfaces are bathed in a blend of warm golden brown and autumn orange, direct lighting calling forth the most vivid color. Fully struck throughout, the dies have also imparted a delightful satin texture that remains as smooth and inviting as the day of production. It was sold for $4,560. Number 2. Here is vividly toned 1959 Washington Quarter. Graded in Mint State 67 by PCGS. Most condition census Washington quarters from the 50s are dramatically toned, and the present superb gem is no exception. Vivid blushes of cherry red, aquamarine, and orange patina alternate across lustrous and unmarked surfaces. It was sold for $17,250. Number 1. This is 1926 S Lincoln Cent in MS64 plus red condition. This San Francisco Cent offers exceptional quality and eye appeal for an issue that is rarely seen with full red color. Both sides of this vivid beauty exhibit dominant pinkish rose color, the peripheries adorned with warmer reddish orange. It is sharply struck and has a satiny and smooth appearance that is suggestive of an even higher grade. The 1926 S has a low mintage by the standards of this series, with just 4,550,000 pieces produced. It has long been regarded a semi to full key date issue in all grades, and the vast majority of collectors have settled for a worn example due to either availability or cost. This rare specimen was sold for $43,200. Thanks for watching this video. Consider subscribing to our channel for more captivating numismatic content. Have a good one.